Hello again, everyone. Kata Kosman, publisher of Madison's Lumber Reporter. Here I am. Yes, it's been a while. We're at the beginning of August, and I do actually have enough of a substantial update to do a YouTube. We have been putting the regular weekly snapshot on the website at the 2-week lag. So folks who just need to see what the price trend is doing, that has been there. But I haven't been doing a YouTube for a while because there wasn't really pertinent information that I could give apart from those snapshot updates. Of course, my actual subscribers to the dashboard see all of this data every week when it comes out. So what we have now at the beginning of August is we have seen the price bottom. A lot of people were asking that question now, at least for a couple of years. Where is the new normal? What is the lumber market doing? What are lumber prices doing? Where are they going to land following all of that extreme volatility and the disruptions to society from the COVID, and also the supply chain issues from the atmospheric river and the destruction of the highway and railway here in British Columbia at the end of 2021. And so the reason that I say we can see that it's the bottom is because prices dropped slowly to the middle and toward the end of July and have now bounced back up in the last 2 weeks. And so that tells us that the supply-demand balance, that the customer ability to accept price lists, and the sawmill and supplier ability to negotiate without counteroffer is now happening. And the purchaser and the seller are in agreement. Volumes are still not that great, and I'll get into that later. But having now the first full half of this year, able to look at the trend line of last year, 2023, gives us the picture. So what has been happening for the last more than 1 year is the customers have been buying only the wood that they know that they need for projects that they have ongoing. And so there is not inventory in the field, okay? Even the wholesalers, even the reloads, when they get an order from their customer, they're going to the mill. And that's been going on now for almost 1.5 years, which indicates a softness to the market. It indicates people are uncertain. They're just not sure what's going to go on with housing, all of the other implications into the forest industry. It's all very confusing, and nobody wants to make the commitment of stocking up on wood because there's just a fear, like, is the price going to go down? Am I going to get stuck with wood that I paid too much for, or something else going to happen? Big shift that's going to leave me in an issue. And so this habit throughout the marketplace can in itself cause an issue, which we might be seeing right now. It's possible that because of the time of year, it's usually things start to get a little bit slower. The construction sites are still going, but they've already ordered their wood. This is usually a time of year where things for the sawmills start to slow down a little bit. We haven't had usual now for like 3-4 years. And so what difference does it make? We can only assess the situation that we're in right now. And that situation is either prices are going to remain flat at where they are right now, which is not that different from this time last year, or they will go up. They're not going to go down at this time of year yet. They might go down at the end of the year at the traditional lowest time of the year before the new year. But at this moment, the tenuous amount of inventory available and the reasonably not terrible volume buying of the customer has let us know that That price drop during July is the turning point. And now we're able to start looking at what does this mean going forward. First of all, as other data starts to come out, apart from what the lumber prices, the manufacturing volumes in British Columbia for the first few months of this year are 6% below what they were for the same time last year. The overall Canadian lumber manufacturing is down 2%, and the US is almost flat. So let's look at some of the graphs, because there's a lot in there, and it's a lot easier if you're looking at it while I'm talking about it, and then I'll come back and say some more. This is one of the images that is generated by my dashboard, which customers who have a login and a subscription are able to see every week. We have the top 6 benchmark items that go into construction of a standard North American home. 1, 2, 3 is Western Spruce, Southern Pine, Eastern Spruce 2x4, and then you have your studs, Green Douglas Fir, 2x4, and plywood. And the first column is this week. You can see, as I'm saying, there has been a little bit of a rebound from the low that we had the previous week and the week before. If you keep going along to the right to see last month, those top 3 benchmark 2x4 prices are up compared to 1 month ago, while the specialty items are a little bit down, but I mean, really that's flat. So showing that we had the drop and now prices are coming back up, expecting to stay along those lines that they have reached now. This is the same data presented as a graph instead of a table. So the red line in the middle there is that benchmark Western Spruce 2x4. That gray line along the very top, that's your plywood, which uses the right axis, Canadian dollars per 1,000 square feet, as opposed to everything else, which is US dollars per 1,000 board feet. And so now we have this 2-year rolling average monthly price starting from August of 2022, and all of that incredible volatility that people have been seeing from the previous years has gone away from this graph. The top bar is $800, and so much more moderated compared to historical what we used to see prior to 2020. And so for the past 1 year, really a much stable price movement that we think is something we can expect going forward now. And then into a little bit more detail, here is that benchmark Western Spruce 2x4. Again, the high prices that we saw for those couple of years have moved off away from this graph, and the top line there is $700. And as you can see that it's the red line 2022 that's still showing some highs. The past 1.5 years, really quite a nice stable trend. If you look at that blue line for this year, 2024, you can see the 2 dots rising just in the past couple of weeks. And so what we had was this price bottomed out there at $330 and has now, at the beginning of August, risen up to US $354 per 1,000 board feet. Okay, and so that explains quite a bit of what I'm telling you here. The other thing that's important, there's 2 more things to take note of. One is that right now, at the beginning of August, the sawmill order files are 2 weeks. Now, order file means when someone calls to make an order, how long does it take before that production goes online to be made, right? So a 6-week order file means someone calls the mill, in 6 weeks their wood is going to be produced, and then another 6 weeks or however long it takes to get to them. And during the spring, when there's the most buying, an order file generally is 6 weeks. And then toward the end of the year, 2 days or prompt, okay? So because it's August and this is the time of vacation, of maintenance, downtime, there is a lot of mills that are going to be on and offline during this month. So that's right now. And the other thing that we have is supply is extremely tight. As I was saying, nobody's stocking on inventory. They're just buying what they need for projects that they have going on right now. And all it takes is a small blip of a few people making some urgent orders at the same time for the price to increase. So check back here often and come again in another day or two. There's going to be a couple more videos coming that I'm going to post.